Welcome. Welcome to my world here on YouTube. I'm your host, Moises Beauchamp. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, that bell, like that you are notified whenever we go live or I upload. Y'all be sure to subscribe and check off that bell, like that you are notified, because from now to the 16th of this month, we will be going live every day until the 16th, but it will be at random times. I don't know exactly when. I work for myself, so my schedule is kind of crazy, so it will be random when I will be going live. So it's important that if you are a subscriber, make sure that the bell is checked off. Be sure that the bell is checked off, like that when we go live. All right, today we're going to be talking about this report that came out on Telemundo, or Noticia Telemundo. My lovely wife, she's gonna translate, okay, as we play this this video here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the video and go ahead and play. You wanna say something to the audience?
Yes, I do actually. Hello, everyone. I'm not sure how many people do we have right now. Okay, we have 4 watching. Please start sharing right now as you're listening. Share it to your friends. Share it in your group. Share it so we can have a lot more viewers. Just like my husband stated, we're gonna be doing lives every day until the 16th, and we won't be having random times because just like everyone else, we do have our own responsibility. But we wanted to do a nice little tribute to Dulce. So every day until the 16th, we're gonna start doing a live. Now, just like he said, make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, to notify you when we're going live, so you don't miss out when we're actually going live. Now, this new news came out today, and it was pretty interesting. And we're just gonna go ahead and play it so people can see it. Just wanted to say that make sure that we attend that visual as well. We got 2 visuals, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, be sure to attend the visual.
There's 2 of them.
We'll tell you guys the dates and the times here in a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and play that video, and my lovely wife will translate as it plays, for those of you that don't speak Spanish.
Ha pasado casi un año de la desaparición de una niña latina de 5 años de un parque de Nueva Jersey. A pesar del tiempo pasado, la madre de Dulce María no pierde la esperanza de hallarla con vida. María Vargas Pion habló con ella y con el agente del FBI que lidera la investigación.
Vigilando las 24 horas del día a su bebé de 6 meses por el temor de que también se la arrebaten, Noema lamenta que Dulce Maria Alavez no esté para disfrutar de su hermanita.
Si estuviera mi hija Dulce acá, estuviera jugando con ella, la estuviera cargando.
Dulce María, de 5 años, desapareció de este parque en Nueva Jersey hace un año, mientras su madre estaba dentro de su vehículo a pasos de la menor. La policía busca a este hombre como persona de interés.
¿Qué esperanzas tienes tú de encontrar a la niña con vida?
Oro a Dios de que ella esté bien, de que él me la está cuidando donde quiera que esté.
El agente del FBI, quien lidera la investigación, le dijo a Noticias Telemundo que Dulce María pudo haber sido secuestrada al azar.
The offender that took Dulce likely would have been in that area for a period of time. It was a crime of opportunity.
Pero el FBI no descarta ninguna posibilidad. Por eso continúa investigando en México, donde vive el padre de la menor, quien ya cumplió 6 años.
The father and the family have been cooperative when contacted by both the FBI and officials over there.
We continue to receive tips.
Tanto la fiscal del caso como el FBI han recibido miles de pistas, las más recientes hace menos de 2 semanas.
Necesitamos la ayuda de la gente.
¿Cuánto más dolor tenemos que pasar nosotros de que ella no está aquí? Te pido por favor que me regresen a mi hija.
Debido a la pandemia, el año pasado fue la última vez que la familia y la comunidad vinieron aquí a este parque a realizar una búsqueda masiva para encontrar a la pequeña. Hay una recompensa de $75,000 por información para encontrar a Dulce María. Puede llamar al FBI. En Bridgestone, Nueva Jersey, María Vargas Pion, Noticias Telemundo.
All right. I say that is an excellent. A lot of we don't get to see how long, the interview was, but I even those 2 minutes of the interview that they aired, I think that's excellent. Also, hello, how are you? Hello to Bebe. Hello, Jackie. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say about this news thing that came out today. It's awesome. I honestly, for 11 months, we have not seen too much action coming from the mother and from the family. Yes, we haven't seen a lot of action from the family. So looking at this news thing today is very interesting. So it does state on there that she is saying that she would want Dulce home, that they still haven't stopped searching, and things are moving along great. And another thing is that her demeanor today in this news thing seems genuine. We don't know what happened. Maybe she felt like threatened or something, not to speak. And we don't know none of that stuff. We don't know why no one's ever from that particular family has ever come forward. Because you know what? If you haven't experienced a kidnapping hands-on, we can't say, we can say what we want, but we don't know everything. So with that, it could just be meant anything. Somebody could have threatened her. She didn't feel comfortable. Or maybe just flat out didn't just want to do anything. We don't know, but we do know that even with the 1 year coming in, I'm actually just even happy with her showing some type of progression. We don't know because a lot of people, when you're pregnant, a lot of hormones run differently. Maybe she was super, depressed, didn't want to do anything. There's a lot of people that go through that. A lot of people go through a lot of emotions. But with that news thing, it does say they're not giving up hope. They would like some information and etc. onto where Dulce is, and that she's praying that wherever she's at, that she's kept safe. So now I wanted to put out that news thing out there too, because it's one of the most current ones, and we can use that one for right now since it's September 1st. Like I said, we're going to start spreading awareness all the way until the 16th. And one thing that I wanted to express was that the only way that you could really genuinely spread awareness is if you do it continuously. And I don't mean 24 hours a day. I don't mean, once a week. I say that when you start already something and you start already spreading the awareness and you are, you're already in tune with it, don't stop. Because the more the merrier. The more people that can come and spread awareness. And even with your YouTube, like, use your YouTube. If you was already using your YouTube, spreading awareness before, then like, why stop and then do it now because it's going to be her 1-year anniversary? That's not spreading awareness. I mean, it's not doing any of that stuff. And even though that there wasn't no information given, no new information given, nothing has updated, it doesn't matter because nobody really knows anything. And awareness is a real strong word. That means that you're going to keep spreading, either the name of something, and that's what we're doing. So I wanted to ask a question that I'm not sure if, I think I seen it, but I need some collaboration on it. I wanted to know, did Noema's boyfriend, her current boyfriend, the father of the baby that she just had recently, wasn't he arrested the same day that Dulce disappeared? If anybody knows the answer to that question, just please leave it in the comment. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was arrested the same day. Not pretty sure. I don't know, but I do recall reading that somewhere, and I just can't find it off bat. But we want to go back to saying that in the article that was just launched not too long ago as well, I think it was like last week, where the FBI was talking about that it could possibly be a stranger abduction, meaning that it's a non-family abduction. It did state that this person might like to have stood there and just watched children all day, and that necessarily not Dulce was going to be the pinpoint of the abduction, but it kind of clearly states that there was going to be something. It's just Dulce was a whole lot more easier at the moment. But now when we talk about stranger abductions, 80% of stranger abductions happen a quarter mile from the home. Okay? They happen within a quarter mile from the home. 74% are dead within 3 hours. Not saying that this is what the situation is here, but it being that the FBI is stating that maybe it was a stranger abduction. And when you look up stranger abduction, in the internet, nothing is positive with that. Now, 71% of a non-family abduction occur in woods, a park, a street, but very few of them happen at a school or a shopping center. So woods, a park, and a street. Guess what? Guess where Dulce was surrounded? She was surrounded by woods, there was a street, and there was a park. And usually, when they are returning their victims, usually they leave them within a mile or to a 3-mile radius from where they were abducted. If it's a stranger abduction, unless they were taken for sex trafficking, usually they're not left in the area. Usually they're shipped out elsewhere. And so in a stranger abduction, just like that article was saying, they have to be familiarized with the area. You have to be really familiarized with that area, especially Bushland Park. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm going to keep saying it, that park is active in so many ways that it's very hard to understand that nobody's seen anything. I mean, you have so many things that you can do in that park. You got the football field, you have the soccer field, you have the baseball field, then you have the little midget football league that's even further up from the park. And when I mean park as a whole. She was at a park inside of a park. A park where there's swings. But that whole park is 1,100 acres of an actual park. And it's divided into different things that people can do. So when we see that the chief says that there was 24 people at the basketball court And then you hear Noema saying in the Dr. Phil show that there was just 2 little girls on the basketball court. The chief could have possibly been talking about the basketball courts that were just finished and paved on Mayor Aikens Road. He doesn't specify which basketball courts those 2 dozen people were at. And it's important, not that it's important, but if you see that the community and the people throughout the U.S., when they listen to the story, is saying, wait a minute, but on the Dr. Phil show and on the, in certain places, she just only talks about, the 2 that were at the basketball courts. But then you have a bunch of articles that state that a lot of people were there, about 2 dozen people at the basketball courts, and they got interviewed, but not that basketball court. Because you know what? I think that it would eliminate some of the badging and some of the confusion that the public has, because they're unaware of how huge that park is and how many things are actually in that park. You got like that splash park, that splash pad for the children. You got the zoo. What else do they have there? Oh, you have canoeing and hiking, trailing.
There's no longer canoeing, but there is hiking. And as someone mentioned, Miss Simply Made Humble, she says that, the high school, like you said, there's a lot going on in that area as far as recreation and in schools, but as far as I know, there's no cameras there at that park. And this person must have known that. And like the article said the other day, it was an opportunity, and he seized it.
Yes, he did. But you know what else is interesting? You want to know a Christian fun fact? A groundskeeper. The Christian High School was looking for a new groundskeeper before school started. And then in that in the newsletter that they send out, and they're asking, they're advertising this position that's available. They also state that you don't need no training, no license, to deal with certain, what do you call that? Maybe like a whatever equipment that they utilize that they thought that you didn't need specific training for and licenses. Which groundskeeper did they hire? That's another question that arises in my head every once in a while.
It could have been just a general position where you didn't need like high school diploma or any kind of special training.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that when you're reading the newsletter. It doesn't. Maybe he didn't have too much of a big, like a big role, but he had some role. And then groundskeeper means that you're consistently out there in the fields. In the soccer, in the whole park generally, because that whole park is connected as one. Like, who did they hire to work there? It's a new person.
Now, real quick, not to interrupt you, but somebody said you asked a question about the boyfriend being locked up. Somebody said that he was locked up the day after little Dulce went missing.
The day after?
I think I seen that in the chat room.
Yeah, I see it right now.
But my question is, was this guy working? Did he have a job at all during this time?
I believe he said that he was working. He was working. I believe they said he was working that day, and that the only reason why they went to arrest him is because they said he might have known the person for the red van. They didn't necessarily say that it was him, but that he might have been familiar with the person who owned the red van. Per her words, when she had that interview and a couple news articles that state that from her.
Right.
Yeah. So now why did they arrest him, right? You have...
Well, was it in connection to, I'm sure that they picked him up for questioning. But why was he arrested?
Yeah, it's I guess ICE wrote back and has said that he was detained, but not for something that had to do with that case. Something that was different is why he was held.
Interesting.
Because remember, it was a big old stench, because you're asking the public to come forward, but yet again you arrest a boyfriend, and then once that happened, the community lost any type of hope that they even had to even come forward with any type of information. With that, and still to this day, I still don't even get why they really did arrest him. I do know that she said on one of the news articles is because he might have known the person with the red van, but then again, they let him go, but they charged him on something else that has nothing to do with the case. Like with Dulce's disappearance, it was, I guess he had other pending problems, and when they went to question him, it came up. So they still have to be cops and still handle that. Just because they went out there and they went to go get this man to question him about Dulce's disappearance, and if he had warrants, they're not just gonna let him walk scot-free. They still have to be a police officer, and they still had to do the job. So if charges had to be laid out from whatever he had over his shoulder, then that's what they was gonna be there to do.
So it seems to me like he was picked up for questioning, due to Dulce being missing, and maybe a detainer popped up from somewhere, some sort of a warrant or something, and it sounds to me like it might have been ICE, because from what I understand, ICE did hold him for a little while, correct?
Mm-hmm. They were the ones who held him. And now it could have been, we don't know how many times has he also crossed over. I mean, it's a lot. And unfortunately, all of that stuff comes out when a child goes missing. So if he done already broke the law a couple times and then a child goes missing, I'm pretty sure you're going to go in there for questioning a couple times and still going to get in trouble. Other legal actions are still going to be taking place, even if you had no involvement with Dulce, because you're still doing other things that only they are aware of. But yeah,
now Kitty Cats asked, Kitty Cats, she asked, did anyone ever follow up with Steven Vega, the guy who was the guy that tried to pick up
that girl,
that little teenage girl over there by the store? Has anyone followed up on that situation? Me personally, I haven't. Have you, baby?
Yeah, I have. He's still in jail, and from the last time that I read into him, British police was actually asking the community, has anybody ever been approached by this man with the same tactics that he used with that girl and using those hand signals? Now, you remember when Manny, Noema states that Manny was, because he can't talk, so he said that a person was doing signaling Dulce to come over, is what he was explaining to his mother, and however it is that he can explain it to her. But he was using hand signals telling Dulce to come on. Now, when this came out with Steven, if you looked at him, he was using hand signals luring that girl to come in the car, and this is probably where we assumed that maybe he had something to do with it. But at the same time, we don't know. He's still in jail. And that's a good question. I haven't even searched him in like 3 months. So the last time that I've seen, the cops were reaching out to see if that actually has happened to anybody else, not just that girl. So if it's him, then he's already in jail.
Right.
And he doesn't live that far from the area either. I mean, from her school either. He doesn't live that far from her school either. It's a quarter mile. He lives a quarter mile from the school. That's how close he lives to
Now,
the school.
there's been a lot of talk, right, about Ohio and Ohio tags.
Yes.
Do you think, in your opinion, could they have been maybe fake tags?
Possibly. I mean, you know how many? It's not nothing new. It's only new because everyone that's searching, you're seeing things, but we can't confuse what really happens in the world when something like this happens, because we all know that there's plenty of fictitious tags going around. And let me tell you something, and we all know that they're great to be here one day with a Texas tag, and then tomorrow they're here with a Ohio tag, and then the next 3 days after that they got Florida,
Pennsylvania tags.
Yeah, I mean, you look, you don't really have to be a Mexican to get a fictitious tag. I mean, but just like anybody else, you know how fast those tags can change? I mean, anybody, if you knew anybody that made even a temporary tag, you can be from here to there and have in the next block over, you done already changed your tag. That still belongs to your car, but guess what? When the cops are driving behind you, they're looking for that old tag, and in reality, you have a whole nother tag to your car. So I'm not too. I have no idea why these Ohio letters came out, and it's kind of not that it's messed up. I'm just saying that with these Ohio letters being out, it wants to go right back around into the circle, into it being that it's the family. Only why? Because the majority of the family has Ohio tags. Guess what? 75% of them people in Britain have Ohio tags. So if this family was to get framed, the person would know how to frame these people. They got the Ohio. Okay, well, the majority of this family has Ohio tags. I mean, you really would have to be that into searching to this family to know that that's where they're from Ohio. And let's put it like this. That was a big lead. 3 letters sent in Ohio, where even the Ohio police officers and all their task people went out there to do these searches and everything like that. Do you genuinely think that if it was the mother or the grandmother or the grandfather, that we would still be waiting here since March to get something done? No, I'm pretty sure that would strike some. This is why they and on top of that, you have what are those handwriting experts. I'm pretty sure that when those letters came in, somebody went to that house, including the FBI, and seized any type of penmanship or had them write on paper to, there's a whole lot of ruling out that happens. It's not just because letters were sent, they're going to be like, okay, well then it was you. No, it's a lot that's in stake. They have to match handwriting and things like that. And these are, it's a lot of things that happen when you're looking into something. Like, you can't be a kidney doctor and do a surgery on my ankle, because that's not what you are. So in these letters in Ohio, I'm pretty sure that they had to do some kind of penmanship check. I'm pretty sure there was some type of specialist. Maybe not everybody might have known that, but behind the scenes wouldn't know. If you're not there every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then we don't actually know what the FBI and what the cops is actually doing with this family when new things like that arise, like these Ohio letters.
Now, real quick, remember when it came out that they found a deceased little girl somewhere? Where was that at, that they found that deceased little girl? That, remember, they was trying to say that it might have been Dulce, but it wasn't confirmed, and then later it turned out that it wasn't Dulce.
Oh, you're talking about from Delaware? Some.
Oh, okay. So that was Delaware.
Warner, Delaware, or something like that.
Okay.
And that's what the FBI. They're not saying that they're linked together, but they were about an hour away, and you have this little girl in Delaware who they don't already put maybe a possible progression picture of her, and still no parent has came forward from there and say, okay, well, that's my child. So that means that possible child that was found in Delaware doesn't belong in Delaware. It might be from a whole nother state, and then this is why nobody in Delaware has came forward and she doesn't match any of the missing cases that are out there in Delaware nor in New Jersey, anything in those surrounding states, because that means that she must have be further out somewhere. And unfortunately, the mother to that child still hasn't came forward. I mean,
So-
how do you know that your child is missing?
So this little girl is still with Jane Doe.
Yep, she's still a Jane Doe. Yep, she's still a Jane Doe, and it's sad because she was all you know what? And it's sad because, and I'm not gonna say it like that to be rude, but she actually had more publicity than Dulce, who was you know, at the moment was actually kidnapped. You know, they in Delaware, they had her out there for a while. Every day you would see something about the child that she was missing, and it was asking the public, does any, and they even stated a possible medical condition that this child had as well too. So, you know what? So there's no doctors. Right now they're probably waiting on DNA. Once that DNA, that they get back that DNA from whatever they was able to gather, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a hit somewhere, because DNA is real. With all this technology that's right now, I mean, they can find you just by you breathing with your DNA. So just because they haven't, you know, came forward and said that's my child doesn't mean that
They can find DNA from you breathing.
yes.
I didn't know that.
I'm just
But
saying.
that's pretty cool. I didn't.
But
I
I
didn't
tell
know
you,
that.
because when you're breathing too, sometimes people, when they breathe, they spit. Like just right now, I just breathed and I just spit.
Oh, you have a point there.
Yeah, but they did say she died natural cause possibly. Yeah, yeah. And then if you knew that the child died of a natural cause like that, so then why be afraid? You know what I mean? To come forward to say, well, she died instantly. If it was an accident and it happened by nature, you know, nature took its course, then why you have to be afraid and drop off a baby at a baseball field, near a dugout? That doesn't even make no sense. Then that means that the person wasn't even hurting when the baby was getting sick. Because if you can just chug a baby like that, that's a little wildlife. When you just leave I mean, we bear these kids. I mean, if you don't want to be a mom, please, by all means, remove your whole uterus. But you can't just, that's real animalish when you just, you know, not looking. I mean, you just dropped the child off over there at the baseball field, or you're missing a child, and there's a child that came up that still hasn't been accounted for. No family yet has came forward. Nobody has came forward, so it's real strange. You know, that, like I said, it's real strange that she doesn't even match anybody from that missing center, that national missing center. She doesn't even match any of the children that have been missing. So it's really nothing. This, you know, and it's kind of crazy. Maybe parents said, sad.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. But yeah, maybe, yeah, we can think about a sad parent that maybe lost someone. But think about it. Why would they just leave? Why would they leave Manny? If they were sad and they were depressed, they see two little kids playing unattended, and they would have had wished that was their kids. That's what the whole thing is. When these people like that are probably mourning a loss of their child, they would want, if they take another child, they would probably want to protect them. So if you're seeing two little kids just running around there, no parents watching, some of these women think that, or men think, oh, I can give them a better life. Look, they're being unattentive. They are being unattentive, not just Dulce being unattentive. Both of the kids was running around wild and free, and there was no parent there. So I would say, for a parent who lost their child, both of them probably would have been gone. I'm not sure, but, you know, and it would be more obvious. I I've seen a couple movies where those type of people that lose their marbles because they lost their child are more drama with it. They usually show a lot of signs of depression, crying, and I seen this one video of this lady who she had went into the bathroom to take her daughter, and she was at a park. It was this black lady, and there was this white lady that had followed her into the bathroom. And the white lady, she looked like she wasn't here right now. And she kept telling the mom she needed to take her because she wanted her. And the mom is telling the lady, that's my daughter. You need to get out of the bathroom. I mean, there was people there in the bathroom. And the lady refused to leave until the mom put her hands on her and physically moved her out of the bathroom, and still wanted to come into the bathroom and take the child. Because that, postpartum depression or whatever type of depression, I would assume that that's how it would be if someone lost their child. They would just want any random, they wouldn't care about anything.
That little girl, somebody said that she was there for weeks.
Yeah.
And she was discovered before Dulce was taken. But my question is, why is it that it didn't come out on the news after Dulce was taken?
Yep. And that's true too. They said that, and then they didn't actually state anything about it till like a week or so later that they found this child there. And then that's when it blew up. Even me myself, I had actually contacted Jackie, and I was like, holy crap, like this could be Dulce. But then at the same time, there was like, no, we actually found her a couple days before Dulce disappeared. Well, you know what? That's even another sad case, because nobody knew about her until after Dulce disappeared. So maybe that's probably why the FBI is still looking into it, but doesn't seem that there's a link, but it's still not letting it go with that girl in Delaware.
All right. Now, I mean, not to bring up this part of the conversation, but the drama. Why is it that the drama continues in this case? Why isn't that there isn't real strong unity behind the people involved in this case?
That's a question that a lot of people ask, and that's a question that maybe I don't even have the answer to sometimes, because it shouldn't be like that. Like I said, I belong to other missing people's groups that doesn't involve Dulce. I mean, like other missing people groups, and I don't see I do see some things popping on and about, but it's nothing direct to the people who are spreading awareness. It's usually, the bashing of whoever went missing, like if they find out that maybe a spouse had done it, and then that's when they talk about. But some of this drama too is created because of a lot of the lies that some people say. I mean, I think that since this thing launched since day one, with when Dulce had disappeared, I believe that a lot of the misunderstandings had came into play with these groups because of how the groups are presented. When you start dividing yourselves, if we're gonna have 19 groups for one missing person, then we're all searching still the same thing. Like, we're all still in the same circle. But I heard someone say that somebody approached them and told them for you to stop talking about the awareness. Guess what? If you wanted to keep on talking about it, you could have kept talking about it. You don't have to be quiet. because that's what you wanted to do. Just because somebody comes and tells you, hey, you can't do this, doesn't mean that you have to stay quiet. You know what I mean? And anything after that should be with your good intentions too. Like, you know, it's not no tit, no tat for no situation. If you're still going to continue to pass awareness, and that's what you're going to continue to do, you're going to continue to pass awareness. You know, and it's a shame because sometimes, you know, I really don't even want to say who I'm talking about, but this said individual, I'm a little, how do I say it? I'm a little skeptical, and that they actually resurfaced again, spreading awareness, because I don't think, I don't find it appropriate for that person to do it. And the only reason why I say that is because it was based, what that person was doing was based on a lie. And the family wasn't aware of a lot of things that this person, you know, was doing. Per se, hey, if you checked me out, if I was in the park and you checked me out and I'm still checked out and I was checked out by the feds, you know what? If somebody came out to me and told me to shut my tramp because I was there and I was already investigated, you need to take that blow to yourself, because you know why? Because you weren't truthful. You weren't truthful from the beginning. So when you're not truthful, you get a lot of blows to you when things start coming up, and other people are the ones that are shedding the light into who you are. And with that being said, like, it really doesn't matter what you're doing now or whatever you have done before. It's the purpose of not being honest with this family, okay? Because if the tables were turned, and let's just say that Norma was the one that pinged at the park and somebody else's child went missing. If Norma went over there to that family and suggested doing visuals and searches and this and that and this, knowing that she was pinged at the park,